Coming at you from New Jersey, the capital of misery, and the place where metal forgot to die. This is the Here Lies Metal Too Many Notes New Music Review.
You are Maledictus.
I am Maledictus for now.
And I am Samantha.
And we shall be your overlords for today and all of eternity and your music reviewers. So, this is another episode. Being this is another episode of the Too Many Notes New Music Review, what are we reviewing?
Today we are reviewing the newest release from the band Bunker 66, a black thrash band from Messina, Sicily, Italy. And I looked up where Messina is, and it is right across the channel, the water from Calabria.
Yes, that
Italy.
little strait there, whatever that strait is called. I believe there's a volcano in that strait called the Stromboli. And but it's interesting that these guys are from there because my family is from Calabria, which is of course right across the strait. It's a little part of Italy that's kicking Sicily appropriately. And for all you Sicilians out there, and so these people are very close to my heritage. So
I'm assuming they're your cousins.
Maybe they're my cousins. They're very likely because everyone in Italy knows me. Obviously, I'm related to everyone in Italy. So yes.
Okay, this band is D. Thorne. I believe that's Damien Thorne. On bass and vocals, D.D. Alter, a lot of D's, on drums and backing vocals, and J.J. Priestkiller, I believe new for this album, on guitars. But they're back from 2007. This is their fourth album. First album I found of them. Very excited for that. But this is their return after 2017 from their third album. Came out April 30. We're a little slow this month here. By Dying Victims on vinyl and streaming. Tapes are coming May 30. So that's upcoming soon on Black Region Records. 66 copies only, so get on it.
Now, being out there from Italy, I wonder if they wear costumes.
I mean, I believe they have a look to them, but no, they do not wear costumes. Not every Italian band wears costumes.
Well, ever since, the Death SS, I mean, every Italian band is just wearing costumes.
So we found like maybe three others.
They all wear costumes.
Okay.
These are like costumes for some reason. All right, so now it's time to get on with the review, and it means it's time for the Here Lies Metal 5-point bi-directional classification scale, including the categories genre loyalty, listenability, production style, musical complexity, and just plain fun. Please note either end of these scales mean good or bad. All right, so what's first?
All right, true to nonconformists. We call them black thrash, but we're putting them on the nonconformist side, not quite all the way, but pretty high marks in the nonconformist section. And to set this up, I just want to describe what just the listening experience of the first song. So, it starts out with this kind of very heavy metal intro, I would say. The song is called To the Gates of Death, Lair of the Profaner, by the way. Sets the mood. Starts out epic heavy metal, goes into this fun thrash section very quickly, then some more mean black thrash. You've got your standard issue kind of black thrash vocal with some shrieks in there. Very, very nostalgic black thrash riffs. You feel like you've heard them before, probably have. But then, out of nowhere, they just break into this heavy metal section with this glorious clean vocal, and I was taken into a whirlwind of emotion and delight when that happened. But then it goes back to the black thrash, and then it goes back to the heavy metal, and it just keeps going like that for a lot of the album. It's just this experience of...
There's a cowbell too.
Well, that's a different
part.
But so yeah, it's blending in this way I hadn't heard before of heavy metal with black thrash. That's very fun, and you wouldn't think they go together necessarily, especially because they're definitely juxtaposed. They're not blending the styles, and individually the styles are true. So they are doing true thrash, they are doing true heavy metal, but you just don't see them combined in this way very often, which is why they're getting high on the nonconformist scale. What did you think, Maledictus?
There's lots of dynamics in the style of Bunker 66. And, we're trading off from new wave British heavy metal to early Slayer sounding stuff, to a lot of Venom worship, of course. There's a lot of that in here, clearly. And, a little bit, back to a sort of a Judas Priest beat with melodic vocals, like you mentioned before. And they simply took all the good parts of all the metal we love and rolled it up into one sound. And what's better than that?
I would say the breakdown of thrash to heavy metal is kind of like, I would say 80-20, 80% thrash, 20% heavy metal. So they're not like overusing the heavy metal. This is mainly thrash.
Yeah.
So that is correct to call them a thrash band, I would say.
It's almost like a street thrash sound too.
Yeah. So yeah, they're definitely going for that kind of dirty, raw thrash sound with that kind of black thrash edge to it. But the way they bring in the heavy metal sections, I think, is done perfectly in the perfect ratio, I would say. It's the golden ratio.
The singer in his voice has a little bit of like the violence guy in him, that little whip in his voice. Like, you know,
he's got a very nostalgic, very, as I said, it's kind of a standard issue thrash vocal, I would say. I feel like there's only one guitarist in this band, but I feel like there could be two. But like, you know, I would. The little story in my head would be like there would be two guitarists. The rhythm is a big black thrash guy, and the lead was a heavy metal guy, and they don't get along. And the drummer is a punk. So this band is going off in many directions because there is a definite punk song as well. Putting this further, Nonconformist is a very much a punk song. Everything. What was it called? Track 8, Die on a Monday. Definitely a punk song with thrash singing. And track 6, Malicious Seditious, was basically more like just a standard kind of a Venom worship song, I would say. Not quite black thrash, but not quite.
It's got a beat to it.
But not the old heavy metal sound, more of like that Venom heavy metal sound. It's got a fucking cowbell on it.
Yeah, it's got like a beat to it, you know, like that kind of,
you know,
dark new wave British heavy metal.
And the closing title track is just doom.
Yeah, it's definitely a doom song.
Like you said, you sound like it could be Candlemass.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, but you know, obviously with
kind
like,
of,
dirtier
like
vocals. But yeah, you know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so
they're exploring some sounds, particularly at the end of the album. They explore a few different genres than thrash and heavy metal. But I don't know, it all goes together, it all coheres, and yeah, they're doing what they want. All right, our second scale, the scale of terror. This is a Here Lies Metal first for a thrash band. We're putting this on the distorted pop end, not very far, like just a little bit off the middle towards distorted pop, but we never put thrash in the pop end. It's always in the terror end. So why are we doing this, Mal?
Well, you know, since we're literally bouncing around from significantly different approaches to metal in this record, we must like meet in the middle in this, you know, but we're a little bit more weighted in the distorted pop section, so it's pulling a little bit towards that way, you know, since it's kind of, you know, a lot of it's very catchy, you know, from like the high speed D-beated sections with, you know, demon shrieking vocals, you know, pulls it in one direction, you know, and like the new wave British heavy metal melodically vocalized sections kind of pull in another direction, and you know, then there's the Venom stuff and there's like a Judas Priest kind of stuff, and it's kind of like quartering, they're all just going at it, you know, and in the end we end up like, you know, where we are in this scale, but it's really being pulled on really hard by different directions. There's no one's the more distorted pop people are winning a little bit, like they're a little bit stronger.
Well, here's the thing, because obviously if the whole album was like the heavy metal sections, it would be like much farther on to the pop side. However, the reason we're giving this the first here is that even for the most intense thrash sections, they're not like extremely intense thrash. Like the riffs are very mean, the vocals very mean. It's probably the meanest part of the album is the thrash vocal, but it's very listenable still. All the thrash elements all sound different from each other, not just from the heavy metal sections. And while, you know, the thrash parts are fast, I would say they're not like maximum thrash. They're like an 8.5 out of 10, which is like, it's like almost grooving range as far as riffs go, I would say, like that speed. And they're definitely not afraid, even for the thrash, to go mid-tempo, and as we discussed with Candlemass sounding stuff, doom stuff, even down-tempo, like there's a nice slow menacing section on track 4, Summon the Evil Lords, you know, just breaking up the fast tempo thrash. But yeah, heavy metal section is very melodic, you know, and very catchy, obviously. But yes, so I don't know, it's a very interesting mix, but even the thrash, I would say, is some of the gentler thrash that we normally listen to. So I'm not trying to disparage the thrash, it's very nice.
It all works.
But it's listenable. It's very listenable. All right, third scale, the production scale. Fisher-Price to high production. This is like a middle score, would you say? Maybe on the low production Fisher Price side.
Yeah. Despite like the retro authentic sound of Beyond the Help of Prayers, seems like a very Italian kind of title. It seems like something that some old Italian lady tells you. You are beyond the help of prayers.
That's what I imagine.
I give you the Malika. You know, she gives you. You're beyond the help of prayers.
That's what I imagine their mothers.
See some old lady dressed in black. You are beyond the help of prayers. That's what my mother said to me. So yeah, it has a really authentic sound. More of like that underground band type of sound of the old days. Like what an underground band, more underground band would sound like back then. With very noisy, echo laden, purposefully unintelligible vocals, I believe. And an album, it has like a modest, grounded sound. And with that said, the instrumentation is very clear. It's not like there's a mess going on there. Very warm and clear, which I like. But it's has a almost genuine, almost like a live sound to it. It has that very open kind of sound. It works very well with this, and but it would obviously score more towards Fisher Price. But
it has that live sound, but it is very distinct. Like you can hear like that nice bright bass tone coming in.
Yeah, everything's clear
all the time, and it's it's nice. It's well done.
That's why I like power trios. That's why I like 3. We don't need any more than 3 people.
I feel like there's guitar tracking on this.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious there's guitar tracking. Everyone usually does that, but
so that could be another person.
The perfect sound. I like when there's well, when there's 2
the power
people.
trio.
Why don't we just have a power duo? We just need 2 people and have the drums fake and remember set. No touring needed.
Okay. Our next scale, the note scale. How many notes? It's a middle amount of notes. A little bit on the too many notes side.
It's not
almost.
super simple. There's a good amount of rapid chord changes in here, listening to it. And, riffage is going on here. Combine that with the, an eclectic and dynamic sound of Bunker 66 captured on this record. The band, masterfully created, like a nice harmony with a number of classic metal genres. And, have some early hardcore elements entangled. So you get like a hardcore song out of nowhere, a classic kind of hardcore sound, which is really, it's like, whoa, this album kind of has everything for everyone. So that alone accounts for a significant amount of
wouldn't
notes.
the hardcore song bring the notes down?
Yeah, that's kind of dragging it down from 4. But then you have those more like other songs that have pretty amount of like riffage and chord changes. That's why it's in the middle. It's not super simple. That's why it has a little bit of everything. So we're kind of in the middle here.
It's tough to isolate a performance. I did like there was a nice, very awesome, ripping heavy metal guitar solo on track 2.
Yeah,
very melodic.
Solos too.
It was short and it was exactly the correct number of notes, and each note was perfect.
Less is more.
Okay. Our final scale, the fun scale. We're giving this a very fun score of 2. It's not all the way fun because although obviously it's a good time, but the riffs are mean and sound kind of ill-intentioned. They're evil riffs. However, I will say even on those evil thrash sections, it sounds more like an homage to these guys' heroes than they're exercising any real angst or hatred. Like it's a performative thrash. You know what I mean?
Like Venom would do.
Like there's no actual Satanism behind the curtain.
Yes, it's tongue in cheek, obviously.
Yeah, like this is a fun rendition of evil black thrash, is what I'm saying. And obviously the heavy metal sections, they're like jolly. They're jolly. It's jolly good time.
Yeah. They're not like like we're so evil. They're just like, hey, it's fun.
Well, the heavy metal sections are just straight up fun.
Yeah. They're not serious about this. They're Italian, so it's very difficult.
Lyrical themes seem to be sinning, performing dark works, and evil rituals. Except for the punk song "Die on a Monday." I think that one's about
it's more angst,
not wanting to die before you work the whole week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also want to die on a Monday.
Right, yeah. It's like, they didn't get, it's like, it's Friday, then you die.
That would suck.
That'd be a good goth song. Friday, I died. It's like a sequel to Friday, I'm in Love. Friday, I died. That'd work really well. But, obviously, to add to that, this is very tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, I feel like Italian bands, you know, and don't quote me on this, but I think Italian bands, they kind of have a tongue in cheek about, you know, there's a lot of like
there's many very serious Italian bands
well,
that I never show you.
Well, you know, we're you know,
that have releases all the time.
Well, okay, you know, we don't have to talk about Lacuna Coil or anything.
I'm not talking about big bands. I'm talking about smaller bands.
I know, but
there's a lot of neoclassical. There's a lot of like very serious. They're doing serious music.
Oh yeah, like Flesh God Apocalypse. They're kind of serious.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah,
there's a lot of bands trying to also be.
They wear costumes, okay? They wear costumes. People like big time.
All right, there we go. Another Italian
big time.
Band.
A little bit too much costumes. Well, you know, like bands like sort of like if you take it back to like, you know, like Black Lands or Death SS, things like that. They're kind of, you know.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying they're. I'm just saying it's not a jolly overall country. There's a lot going on. Diversity.
They're not Norwegians, you know. They're not Norwegians. These guys. They're different.
There's fun Norwegian bands.
It's true. There are fun Norwegian bands.
Stop generalizing.
Well, it's a nicer environment. It's a nicer environment. You know, and a lot of people from Europe go there for a vacation because it's nice there.
Yeah, but right? I feel like Italy has a legacy of seriousness in the arts.
Yeah, I guess they have a seriousness in the Renaissance and all that.
And their films.
And you know, the Pope and everything and all the Vatican stuff, right? That's kind of serious, right? And their films, yeah, you know. Their cars and all that stuff,
but not these guys.
Yeah, they're having fun. That's fine. That's what most bands.
All right, that has been our Italy culture discussion.
Yes, okay. We're analyzing Italian culture the best we can.
Lastly, let's talk about the cover.
There's a cover, so
it is by Vaughn Artworks.
So
credits to Vaughn Artworks.
What is going on here? This is like another drawing kind of thing. A lot of bands are doing this lately.
I like the use of typeface for the album title. It's like an old horror movie, kind of.
Oh, yeah. It's like that kind of scratchy letter.
Yes. So clearly we've got something being resurrected by Satan.
So there's a Satan guy back here, right? There he is in the shadows. And there's like a graveyard, but this is like a lich, I think. This is like a lich.
Oh, you think he's resurrecting maybe all
the
graves?
He's a resurrected guy that's resurrecting. That's a lich, right?
He's got a bunch of skulls in front of him.
Yeah,
he's performing a ritual. Maybe he summoned Satan.
Yeah, he's commanding some sort of ritual here, and
maybe he summoned Satan.
Yeah, or maybe just Satan is coming out. But I think he's a lich, though. I think that's what a lich is.
He does seem to be performing a ritual.
Yes,
a lich.
Yes,
a lich.
D&D character. Yeah, and he's in a graveyard here, and it seems to be an outside grave. There's like a tomb here. Yeah, so, you know, but this is like a very kind of like that rough, really kind of pencil drawing thing. A lot of bands are doing this, you know, very sort of like noisy drawings.
There have been a rash of thrash releases this year using black and white pencil drawings.
They're just taking it back to the old days. Some guy drew this on his notebook. This might be
a digital. I don't know what if it's
maybe it could have been. It could have been.
It's meant to look like that. Yeah. But I will say I think this is my favorite. Well, not my favorite cover necessarily. I'm kind of neutral on the covers. Cover wars.
A lot of covers today are looking like some kid drew it on their notebook and like, this is the album cover. And you're like, yeah, Xerox that.
I think this is my favorite release of all the black and white thrash.
It's a good one.
That's come out. Thrash, black and white thrash covers.
We'll see. So anyway, folks, that was Beyond the Help of Prayers.
Is that what an old Italian lady
would
do?
This Maloika is like, you know, the
oh.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the sources. That's where Dio says he got it from. Old Italian ladies going, you are even beyond the help of prayers. You know, and then Gene Simmons has another reason, and you know, and everyone's has a reason. I believe
Dio.
Well, yeah, and this is a thing. Old Italian ladies, or maybe even like old Catholic ladies might be like, you know.
Sign of the devil.
Yeah, you know, I put the devil on you because you're a bad person. So, and I'm sorry I'm making fun of you Italian guys. I'm sure, you know, I'm Italian too, so go fuck off. Go fuck yourselves. So, yeah. So it is a good album though. This is a really good album. I love what they're doing here, and this gives you everything, and this, you know, excites me. This kind of music, and it inspires me. So yeah, check it out.
Last thoughts. This album was awesome. We've already looked at a lot of thrash this year. I try not to be too monotonous, but this is just too special with that heavy metal twist and their little punk elements and you know, Venom inspired elements on there. Just bring it. It's special. It's a special release. I'm definitely delving further back into their catalog because this was new to me. I'd never heard of them before. But yeah, highly recommend. Good time. looking out for that tape. See how much the shipping
tape.
is. And yeah, Bunker 66. Beyond the help of prayers.
Beyond the help of prayers. All right, folks. We'll see you next time.